Red Ice Creations Radio. This is Henrik Palmgren coming to you from the west coast of Sweden. This is internet talk radio that you can access worldwide simply by going to redicecreations.com. Check out our website for our news, our forum, and of course our free archive and also our subscriber archive of fascinating radio programs. Today we have Ted Twietmeyer with us, and this is a fascinating program. We are going to talk about Mars, the Moon, NASA, and UFOs, and a whole lot more. And we'll also continue our interview with Ted in our subscriber section. So if you're a member, just log in, or if you're not, sign up with us, and you can continue listening to this wonderful program with Ted. Before we get to today's show, I also like to say thanks to Christopher Morse for being with us last week. And Chris will be back with us the first Thursday of 2007, so don't miss that show. All right, so let's get to today's program. Welcome everyone. Today we have Ted Twietmeyer with us on the line, and we are going to talk about what NASA isn't telling you about Mars. And Ted is a former defense contractor who has spent over 25 years working with numerous government agencies, including almost all of the NASA installation. And he has analyzed over 15,000 of NASA's Mars photos. And we are going to dive into some of those fascinating discoveries that he's made today. And Ted, of course, is the author to a book entitled What NASA Isn't Telling You About Mars. And you can find out much more about the book and his research at Ted's website. So head on over to Data for Science, that's the digit 4, dataforscience.net, and check out Ted's research and also, of course, this book that we're going to talk about here today. And the most recent news about Mars, of course, is that there is very recently, or even now, is water on Mars, and maybe we can get Ted's take on that also a little bit later. So welcome to the program, Ted, and thank you so much for taking the time to be with us here.
Hi, well, thanks for having me on.
It's great to have you. Maybe you could, if you want to, tell us a little bit more about yourself. You, in the intro there, I said you're a defense contractor, but how did you come about, to begin to research this kind of stuff?
Well, I did that for approximately 20 years. I was a project manager on a number of major systems for defense and for NASA. And in the process, you tend to meet a lot of interesting people and go to a lot of interesting places. Mm. And it was after I left that and changed into a different line of engineering work that I began looking into this. And it began with the book I wrote. It began as a curiosity to look at what have the rovers actually found. Mm-hmm. What have they found, if anything, on the planet?
Yeah.
And that's how this little voyage began. Okay.
Yeah. So, was it something, kind of a one type deal where you kind of struck, where you saw a picture that really, contradicted everything you previously had thought about this, or what was that, so to speak?
Well, yeah, I mean, it was that. It was looking at the images from the planet, studying those in detail, and finding some pretty amazing discoveries on there.
Yeah.
Which no one had spoken about, and incredibly, to this day, about a year and a half later, they still haven't spoken about or talked about. And so I began going through tens of thousands of images just to see what could be up there. And some pretty amazing things were found, artifacts, objects with writing on them,
yeah.
Mechanical objects, most of which looks extremely old and basically looks fossilized. I mean, it is incredibly old. It would be just fabulous to go up there and just pick one up and look,
Yeah. So, I mean, did you Did you begin to look at the raw images that NASA supplies on their website, or did you have kind of a special access considering your background working with NASA?
Well, I looked at raw images. I looked at what was out there. And a curious thing about this was I noticed they were not all really science quality. In fact, very few are. And so I inquired of NASA and made some calls down there to the JPL laboratories in Texas and looking for a better database, to look at. And I was given a URL, and it was a real database where you have to know the various numbers and record numbers and so forth, and saw exactly the same thing. And I called the guy back. I said, this is not research material. This is not science material. And he said, well, try this one. He was a little gruff about it. And I did it, and I saw the same thing. It was a different website with the same kind of low-quality images. Now, if we look back about, 3 years, 4 years at the most, when those rovers were actually built, high-quality science cameras of 10 megabit pixel chip resolution were available at that time.
Yeah.
But when you look at these images are hardly much better than that from a cell phone. I mean, they're not that sharp. I've attempted to sharpen some of them. It's hard to get any real detail out of it. I have found that the images have been altered. There's clear evidence of airbrushing. One, I show a couple of these in the book because I didn't want to spend the whole time on this.
Yeah.
That wasn't focused. One of them was in the sky. They scrambled the bits, and it looks like they might have been hiding at clouds. That's what it looks like, clouds, which you can barely make out. And on the ground, there must have been an artifact laying on the ground that was just too much for them to let out. But I proceeded on the basis that they wouldn't catch them all, or the people doing the censoring would intentionally let some through. And I was rewarded dozens and dozens of times with objects and structures, building materials, things that, this is totally amazing. And it's attracted the interest of NASA's, and I quote the title, Office of the Chief Information Officer. It's interesting they have to have an information officer, who visits the website once or twice a week and has done so for about a year now. So,
really?
Most every Air Force base has visited the website. Most every government agency here in the UK and in Australia. Yeah. They're the main ones that have been there repeated times. Some of these, the various administrative offices are probably people that are just bored at their job and surfing the web. But,
yeah, exactly.
Maybe even some of the bases. But
yeah,
clearly some of the repeat visits, are quite interesting. But it's apparently must have certainly stirred up the pot in a number of the circles.
Yeah, absolutely.
In a number of circles in the governments.
Yeah. So I mean, maybe we can go through some of these images a little bit later. But I mean, I guess there are two kind of ways we can go with this information to start things off, and one of course is, I mean, if we are to get your take on it, I guess you're saying that we're looking at, I guess, and some kind of intelligence considering the geometrical shapes involved here, and this, of course, as you said, has even been fossilized. So this has taken place quite a while back. Or we could, I guess, take the approach that this is something that's done on Earth, and it's it's a fake mission basically. What's your take on it?
Well, I've considered the thought that these were plants, that these were planted there, and some have some resemblance to Earth objects, some do not. One of the most incredible finds is a brick-like rectangular block that's dark, and one end is slightly lighter, gray colored, and on it is white lettering. And that's people can directly access that at www.bookonmars.info.
Yeah.
Nice, easy one to remember.
Yeah, sure.
You know, and this object clearly has printing on it. You know, some kind of letters. Some are recognizable and some are not, but they're clearly there's clearly writing on it.
Is this figure ID 23? You have a radio show images, a full page full with images. I don't know if you have access to internet right now or
yes,
can
I
see
do.
this.
I can see it right now.
Oh, okay, yeah. Is it number 23? You say 5563 on it?
Yes, figure 23 is one, and figure 22 is the one I was actually talking about.
Ah, there we go. Yeah, now I see it. Of course, yeah.
Yeah, there's two objects. One appears to be a 4-digit handwritten number on an object that is clearly not a rock. You know, it seems to have some kind of a coating peeling off it. And that's, you know, other than my enlargement in the upper left corner of figure 23, that is the actual size object. So based on the distance to the camera, and remember this came out of a frame that's would fill your computer monitor if you saw the whole picture. But based on that distance, it appears to be about 3 feet long, and it's about 15 to 20 feet from the camera, from what I can estimate. So it's fairly large.
Yeah, sure. My God.
You know, and it does have the writing on it. Somebody's cataloged it. And it has a coating peeling back on it. I mean, you can see it. It's pretty intriguing because, you know, what is the coating made out of and what is the middle of it made out of, you know?
Yeah.
It almost strikes me as something maybe that sat on the top of a building, like an ornament. You know, I mean, it could very well be that.
Sure.
In my book, I don't try to say that's what this is, that's what that is, okay? I leave that to the reader because it's very open to interpretation, and I certainly can't categorically state, you know, that's what this is and that's what it was used for. And, you know, 5 million years old. I mean, I can't do that.
No.
It's just not right. But I present the information and data for people to look at.
It's fascinating, and I know that several other researchers have brought out the fact that similar stuff have been found allegedly in the moon footage with numbered rocks and so forth. Is this something that you have researched also? Because this seems to correlate a bit, I guess, with this kind of information.
Yeah, it does. It does. This will sound a little bit on the fringe side, but I do know that we have a base on Mars.
Really?
For a long time. And we didn't get there with rockets. I can tell you that.
Okay.
So, you know, now how did they know where to send the rovers? Okay, now